Welcome. My name is Marie Boone Clark, and I am co-founder and executive director of Birthing the Magic Collaborative. Um, and some of you may be familiar with Birthing the Magic. For those of you who are not, we are a 501c3 that curates virtual education for Black birthing people and those who care for them. Tonight is part of our series in honor of Black Maternal Mental Health Week. If you're not familiar with the event, it was created by a brilliant young woman out of Houston who created the space to highlight mental health awareness for Black mamas. Because Black women are more likely to have mental health issues and are less likely to be diagnosed. So we created this space for honest conversations about emotional well-being. The realities are that navigating motherhood and life can be difficult, and far too often we are celebrated for our strength while quietly carrying stress and fear and exhaustion behind the scenes. This series is about reminding us that softness is not a weakness, that rest is it's not selfish. Asking for help is not a failure, and caring for our mental health is an essential part of caring for ourselves as well as our families. And if you missed the session that we had just now, I invite you to go back to our recording. We have a YouTube channel. We'll send you the recording. Dr. Tia did a beautiful job, and everyone this week, or the last 2 weeks, have done a beautiful job of creating a space. And so I am honored to talk to my now friend. I'll have to share with you guys how I met Dr. Neil Barnett. I actually stalked her after one of my neighbors gave me her book. Um, I had a life experience where I was invited to retire from a job that I loved, and I was struggling with it. And one of my neighbors gave me Dr. Neil Barnett's book and said, "Look, I'm tired of hearing about you whining about how much you loved your job and how much you hate that you had to retire." And she said, "I was at Barnes and Noble and I saw this book, and as a Black woman, you need it." And she said, "Read it, do the exercises, and let me know what you think." And after I read it, I looked up Dr. Neil Barnett. I wrote her a very long email
You did.
about how much I loved it. And she was kind enough to like not block me. And over the last couple of years, we've become friends. So you will have to let me fangirl, although I've since had a chance to meet her in person, and we've had a chance to do some things together, but you'll have to let me fangirl with her. So join me, settle in, and remove whatever distractions you have, and join me in this conversation. So it's my honor to introduce Dr. Neil Burnett. She is an internationally recognized clinical psychologist, author, researcher, professor. She's one of the nation's foremost experts on anxiety and disorders among Black women. For a couple of decades, her work has helped transform the conversation around mental health by giving language to the experiences that so many Black women have been taught to endure in silence. Her groundbreaking book, Soothe Your Nerves, The Black Woman's Guide to Understanding and Overcoming Anxiety, Panic, and Fear, has helped countless women recognize what they thought they simply had to push through was worthy of understanding, compassion, and treatment. Her work has challenged the myth that Black women must always be strong and instead remind us that healing begins when we give ourselves permission to feel fully human. Dr. Neil Burnett, or as I call her, Dr. A, thank you for giving us time tonight and for joining me. I am so honored to know you. I'm not going to cry or do the fangirl that people would probably do for somebody like Beyonce, but you truly did give me my joy back. Let's talk about the story behind Soothe Your Nerves. What made you write such a powerful book? And many people know Soothe Your Nerves, but they may not know the story behind what prompted you to write the book. So why did you write it?
And I say this in the book. I wrote it for all of the women I knew as a child and didn't know how to help. I didn't know that what they had was called anxiety. And for all the women that I had met through the years who had anxiety, who I could help. I tell the story about how wherever I went, whether it was church, whether it was to the mall to ride the carousel with my daughter, wherever, people were always stopping me to talk. And what they wanted to talk about was anxiety and fear. Only they didn't know that that was what it was called. They were just knew they were experiencing something that gave them great discomfort and prevented them from being the women that they wanted to be. And I'm an academic. So, as an academic, you're supposed to write for other academics. And I did that very, very well. And I got all the perks that you get as a faculty member, as a professor, when you research and publish very, very well. But the only Black person who was being helped by what I did was me.
Hmm.
Um, it wasn't reaching the people I was doing the research on and and for. So the people who were reading it were white male professors, some white female professors, but the work was for and is always for Black women and girls.
Hmm. Now that's something, and the 3 years or so that I've known you that I didn't realize. So how did you shift the paradigm, I guess, and how did it reach someone like me?
Well, I had a friend, Dr. Gail Wyatt, who was just retired from UCLA, and she had written a book on stolen women, on women and trauma. And she said, you should write a book. You should write a book about anxiety. And again, at the time, very different time. And so you were looked at as not being a real researcher if you know, went went the general public way of
Oh.
publishing. But it was too important, and we needed it was too important. Anxiety and fear are too important to sit in academic journals. So she introduced me to her agents. I put together a proposal, and they took it. And so Simon and Schuster said, "Yes, we want to publish the book." But again, it wasn't about it wasn't about all the things that people think go into publishing. It was getting the word out that anxiety was treatable and you could reclaim your life, and
Mm.
getting it out in a way that made sense to Black women.
Mm. So that's the book I read, not the one that was academic.
You read the book that was for Black women, written by a Black woman. And the stories in the book, my Aunt Pooh, uh, uh, Layla, uh, Mrs. Williams, are all women who either I knew as a child or had come to me seeking help as a psychologist.
So what surprised you most about because the book was written actually some time ago.
Mm-hmm.
What surprised you most about how it stood the test of time?
I think what surprised me most was that women who read the book uh, in like the early 2000s are now passing the book on to their daughters,
Mm.
so that they are seeing in their daughters, in their granddaughters, in their nieces, uh, signs of anxiety, and saying, "Hey, I want you to read this book because I think it may help you."
Mm. And in a way that it's sort of disappointing that at least two generations later, we're still
Yeah.
experiencing some of those things that we still have.
I
How do I
well,
say that?
no, I don't know that that it's disappointing. Well, I think I see it differently. I see it as, okay, um, that our millennial women, our Gen Z women, our Gen Alpha women have faced things that we never had to face. I mean, many of them were born, some of them were born during the Great Recession. Um, Truth be told, the pandemic took a overwhelming toll on on Black women's mental health.
Mm.
Um, and so, and then you and I were just talking about this. The new rules and regulations and guidelines in the United States have displaced 600,000 Black women from the workplace. And so that they're facing things that we did not face, and that creates anxiety and fear and chronic stress. And so I see it as, okay, instead of people saying, well, to their family members, to their daughters, to their nieces, well, baby, we just going to pray on it. They're saying, look, I think you're experiencing anxiety. I think you're experiencing stress, and this book helped me. And now and I believe it will help you. So I see it in that way, as opposed to being disappointing.
That's a good point. And I love how you have prefaced that, Dr. A, because you're right. We're there has been a new challenge around the strong Black woman, right?
Yeah,
And the superwoman
yeah,
persona, that we're taking off the capes, some of us
yeah.
at least,
Well, some
right?
of us are. Some of us are. Some of us still have it in our wardrobe.
And Nadine says, yes, it changed me and my oldest daughter. Yes, now we can name it as it is. Thank you, Francesca, as well as saying it's okay to feel this. That is so true, Nadine. Um, some of us are still, we may have taken the cape off, we take it off and then we put it back on.
Yeah.
And um, the challenge at times is knowing, I think the challenge for me at times, I think is knowing the safe places to take it off.
Yes. Yes. And
Um,
yes. And we feel that there aren't very many safe places to take it off. We don't believe we can take it off at work. Sometimes we don't believe we can take it off at at home, and being able to say you don't have to be a strong Black woman all the time, because there's some really nice things about being a strong Black woman. But the bad thing is that we keep on keeping on even when our bodies and our minds are telling us to stop.
mhm,
And we as Black women, we just believe that if we're not strong, we're weak. And to be weak and a Black woman for many of us is an oxymoron. And we just have to change our thinking, change our mindset around that. And that's one of the things that we talk about in Soothe Your Nerves, how to change your thinking, because it is our thinking that keeps us anxious.
Well, and you could we could say, look, we could look at some of the public figures that have come under just in recent, I guess, um, media, some of the public figures that have tried to step back are say, I'm protecting my peace, um, uh, or
Yeah,
with
I think we should protect our spirits. I think
mm,
that's what we need to do. That it is so important for us to protect our spirits. And when we are anxious and fearful, it is incredibly difficult to do that. And um, the question becomes, how do we protect our peace? How do we protect our spirits? Is it just us stepping away? And yet it's not enough. It's not enough for us to just step back or step away. We have to step back, step away, and do some other things while we are in the background. Things that will reduce our anxiety and allow us to be who we were meant to be.
so when you say protect your peace,
Mm-hmm.
link that to a specific like action, or can you make that tangible for us?
Sure. So the first thing is we protect our peace. First thing we do is we take the step back, right? Okay. So in that stepping back, what else are we doing? Okay. So are we taking time to practice meditation? Are we taking time to walk? What we know is the very, that how you start your morning affects the rest of your day. So if I step back to protect my peace, to reduce the anxiety and fear that I am experiencing, that is not enough. So, how am I starting my morning? Okay. And the tools of our faith, prayer, or scripture reading is a wonderful way to start our day. It is a form of mindfulness, as is journaling, gratitude journaling, those types of things. The other thing in terms of protecting our peace is we have to take a look at, okay, what am I eating? If I've stepped back to protect my peace and I'm, drinking cups of coffee or I'm eating caffeine laden food, that's just going to increase my anxiety. So we have to be aware of the nutrition things that we are doing. And then, third, do I need assistance to protect my peace, to protect my spirit? Do I need to see a therapist? Do I need to join a sister circle? And for many people, it's yes, I need to do something, some form of therapy that's going to help me manage my anxiety. So,
Mm.
those are three things that we can do if we're going to protect our peace and reduce our anxiety and fear that we can do right off the bat as we make that step back. But your peace wasn't disturbed by all alone. And so you cannot overcome anxiety and fear in isolation. There's there are things that one must do, one must practice, and it becomes just part of your life.
Now, I noticed that you described, or the two steps of protecting my peace.
Yeah.
But specifically, let's talk about the therapist first.
Okay.
Um,
So go ahead. We can
oh,
talk about therapy. Yes.
so often as people of color, we pause when we say a therapist. When we think about seeking um, a therapy, first question is I think sometimes the idea of seeking therapy somehow means they don't have enough faith. How do you help us
Yeah.
reconcile prayer and therapy?
First of all, prayer, uh, depending on what type of therapist counselor you get, prayer can be a part of the therapy. Okay. So first of all, I think it's really important to say there is no sin and shame in being anxious or fearful. It just is. There isn't. The sin and shame comes when we keep it hidden, uh, and we think we can do it all by ourselves. The other thing to remember is that if you are a Christian, that there are all sorts of people of great faith in the Bible who experienced anxiety. So I'll give you two. Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. He's the Son of God. He's known how the story ends from the beginning. And yet he is in that garden, anxious and afraid and weeping. Okay. And I always say, if that wasn't a panic attack that he had, then I don't know what is. And we think about Elijah on the mountain and how he killed all the prophets of Baal. And all it takes is for Jezebel to say, okay, you made a fool of me. By this time tomorrow, you'll be dead. And his panic attack, he becomes so afraid. He starts trembling. He starts shaking. He thinks he's going crazy. He thinks he's going to die. All of those things are symptoms of a panic attack. And
Wow.
he runs. He runs so fast and so hard that it takes his servant like 3 days to catch up with him. So
Hmm.
these people, great faith. I was just talking to a group of young adults, and they said Moses was anxious.
Yeah.
Um, so all of these people of great faith, and the other person they told us was Mary, was anxious and fearful. And so you get all of these people in the Bible who have anxiety and fear. And see, prayer, it wasn't prayer alone that was helping them. There were other people who were ministering to them in
Hmm.
many of the same ways that a therapist or a counselor will work with you. So I would say that I truly believe that faith, sorry, let me just say, faith without works is dead, or that's what I learned in Sunday school. So that you have to do the work, you have to do the counseling, you have to work with other people in order to overcome anxiety and fear. We talked about panic attacks, which run throughout the Bible. There's social phobia, which many Black women experience, this fear of I think other people think. So, this fear of being evaluated either positively or negatively. Uh, are really common forms of anxiety and fear. And I just saw somebody say community, absolutely. Because what we do as Black women, whether we are women of faith or not, is we think um, we think we can do it all by ourselves. And we think we are the only one. So we are the only one experiencing anxiety. We are the only one having panic attacks. We are the only one having social phobia. And nothing could be further from the truth. You are not alone. There are other Black women out there who are experiencing the same thing.
Thank you.
You're
And I
welcome.
think the thing, thank you, Francesca. This leads to my the next question I was the comment I was going to make that Dr. A, you mentioned therapists and
Yes,
you mentioned sister circles.
yes.
And Francesca says, Amen. And that is how we heal as a people through community. Will you talk a little bit about your sister circles?
I will. I will. All of us have been, as Black women, most of us, probably all of us, have been part of an informal sister circle. And I'm going to kind of show my age by saying whether it's sitting on the porch playing Jackson 545s, or you know, or whether you're in a prayer group, or whether you and a bunch of your girlfriends got together and were doing hair on Saturday night, or on Saturday night, Sunday morning. All of those things were sister circles. They were a group of Black women, like minded, something in common, coming together to laugh, to talk, and to share with one another, and to support one another in whatever was going on in their lives. So we just took that, and people have used sister circles for all sorts of things. They've used them for cancer survivors, they've used them for people with heart conditions. What we've done is we've taken them and we've manualized them for Black women. So we have sister circles uh, for Black women who are experiencing anxiety. Uh, and many of these women, let me say this, let me back up a little. So, Black women who are experiencing anxiety. So, we run groups for middle class Black women, we run them for girls, teenage girls. And we also run them for perinatal mothers, so women who are pregnant or postpartum. Um, and they're manualized. So there are certain things that happen in each session. We train people to deliver the sessions. We supervise them. So we do supervision every week so everyone's prepared for their sister circle. And they have just made an enormous difference in reducing anxiety. Because, as I said earlier, it demonstrates to women that I'm not by myself. And the same thing that happened to Marie happened to Dr. Angela. And so maybe I'm not crazy. Maybe they're right. Maybe this is something I can overcome.
I love it. And our speaker earlier, just the session just before us, she was talking about that she in her community they have sister circles for women who have experienced a, lo a prenatal loss, a perinatal
Yes.
loss,
Yes.
and so they don't have to be um, I mean, as you just mentioned, the informal groups that
No,
I love that
no.
you created these sessions, and we have Birthing the Magic is working with Dr. Angela to create sister circles across the country for mamas. So if you guys stay tuned later this fall, we have something coming up. So
I'm
um,
excited. I am excited, and
me
because, and I'm sure
too.
she mentioned this, that the trauma of loss, the anxiety that the anxiety that uh, Black pregnant, Black postpartum women experience, it affect infant mortality and maternal morbidity. And if we can address the mental health aspects of this, we continue to make a difference in lowering deaths among babies and mamas. Yes.
And I don't want to hog. If you guys have questions, please drop them in the chat. And while drop them in the chat, I have another question for you, Dr. Angela. As you've traveled the country and met with mamas and women across the country and across the world, because you just came back from Colombia, was it?
Brazil.
Brazil.
Yes.
What has surprised you most about women? What in terms of our resilience, but then also what do you think has made women so comfortable carrying emotional pain in silence?
Yeah. I I think what has surprised me the most is that no matter where, that Black women across the diaspora, you know, um, just face um, the same issues, in terms of, the issues regarding racism and discrimination and being only and all of those things contribute to the anxiety and and panic and fear that they experience. I think again that we see ourselves as resilient, uh, and that's a point of pride for us. So we become uncomfortable. The uncomfortability that Black women experience, when you say, "Okay," as you said, as we said earlier, put down the cape.
Mm.
It's okay to be vulnerable. It is. It is extremely hard for us to be vulnerable because we see vulnerability as being messy, and it's
Mm.
not being messy. It's, I'm telling the truth. I'm saying what it really is, and by doing that I can receive or seek out the help that I need.
That is so true. I mean, I think for at least for my, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm dang near 70, as I say. And I remember growing up where it was always like, remember who you are.
Yes. Yes.
A
And
proper
or
a
yes.
proper
Yes.
young lady does not,
Yes.
we don't
Remember.
we don't cry. We don't
Yeah. Yeah.
we
Or
don't air our dirty
yeah,
laundry.
yeah.
I
And that's all. You're right. All you have to, and sometimes when we get close to asking for help, we hear that in our ear. Remember who you are.
yeah, remember who you are. We don't know. Or when I was going through my particularly ugly divorce, I mean, it was bad. And my mother had passed by that point, but I had this wonderful mother of my church would
Yes.
call me every day,
Oh, wonderful,
every
wonderful.
day. Oh no, she didn't call me to let me cry. Mother Benton called. I'm going to call her name out. Mother Benton called to say, "Don't you go to work looking bad. Don't you let those people see.
Yeah, don't let you,
Don't you let them
yeah,
see you looking
don't,
bad. Got your
don't,
makeup on. Got your makeup on. You got your
yeah,
hair. Don't you let."
yeah,
And I every day.
yeah,
And when I tell you I went to work pulled together.
yeah.
Oh,
You
anyway,
had,
Nadine, do you
you
want me to
had,
unmute you? Oh yes, okay. Nadine wants me to unmute her. She wants in. I will unmute. But Mother Benton, I love that little woman. When she passed away, she had a change of clothing. The
oh,
outfit she wore, oh my God, the outfit she wore for her wake was not
yes.
the outfit she wore for her funeral.
Oh, wow. Oh, what? But again,
She was a
I mean,
mess.
those are the images that we are
Yes,
up against.
yes.
Um,
Got
and
outfits. I'm trying to
and
find you, Nadine. Oh,
their
there you are.
wisdom and their wisdom for us, and the
Yeah.
images we are up against,
Oh, yes,
and the
Francesca.
wisdom that they, yeah,
That woman had a wardrobe and a half. There you are,
yes,
Nadine.
Can
Yes.
you hear me?
Very.
Yes.
Okay, I because I couldn't figure out if I was muted. I just want to say thank you for the book. I will be ordering the book. I will be ordering the book for my daughters. I already sent it to my oldest daughter. Um, it just makes me want to cry because I, I just started training this year to become a doula, and
Okay.
I've met like four amazing women, and then one of my friends I've been friends with for years, and we see the need for community here, a sisterhood. And
Yeah.
we're right now talking about creating this space in the next 2 weeks. And and I'm just so grateful to that I'm here for these Zooms this week. And this is what God put in our heart a week ago. Like it's all aligning. It's meant to be because we don't have community here in Kern County. We have, Hispanics with Hispanics, blacks with blacks, and then it's always like if you're light skin or if you're dark skin, it makes it so difficult when we just need to be women supporting women. And the way, like we said, back to our ancestral roots, we were not designed to be this way. We were designed to be in a community and supporting and uplifting one another. So thank you, ladies, so much for this. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Nadine. Now where you'll have to stay in touch. Where are you? What city, what state, what county?
Bakersfield, California.
Oh
You're
my God.
friends, you're friends with Tracy Dominguez.
Yes.
Yes.
I love Tracy.
Yes, I met Tracy a few months ago, and so we're really good friends now. I'm going to talk to her
Oh,
later.
yes. Tell Tracy I said hi and I
I
miss her,
will.
and let me know what you're when you are um however I can help, and we've got to get together.
Sounds great. Sounds great.
Yes, 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 yes. And I've got a whole theory on this whole girl, we need to talk. This whole like the reason that we are separated. It's all I'll send you some stuff. Look,
Yes,
I'll send
that
you
would
some
be great.
stuff.
That would be
It's
great.
all ordained. It so is, right?
Yes, it
Anyone
is.
else want to be unmuted? This is just a chat conversation now.
And I would
Um,
thank you, Nadine. Thank you for sharing with us. And I would also say that
Francesca says she was prompted to buy your book by Maisha McIntyre. She's been using the book ever since with her clients. It's been great. Oh,
thank you. Thank you.
yeah. I've given the book, and I didn't tell you that my neighbor that bought the book for me is not black. She,
Okay.
she, and she was so funny. She went to I guess the black section in Barnes and Noble, and she's like, "Let me find this book for this girl because I am tired of hearing her cry about it." But yeah, so. But no, I let me get back to I'm supposed to be doing a job here to talk about the book. So you answered the question. Did we talk about why we are so comfortable carrying emotional pain? Did you answer that question or
I, I think that goes to the thing we've been talking about,
oh,
being strong Black women. And you're talking about your second mom, your
oh
godmother.
that yeah,
I mean, and her
probably good.
saying to you, don't you let those people, and um I mean, that's what's been modeled for us, or that's what we think has been modeled
Yeah,
for for us. And so that's what we do because we haven't had, or we haven't been told about safe spaces, safe places where we can just let it go.
yeah,
And again, as I said earlier, we think we are the only one. So it's always surprising to find out that there are so many other women like us.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have to ask in the safe space, have you guys seen the show on Netflix, The Polygamist? Have you all seen, has anybody seen it? Any raise of hands if you watched it? Speaking of, it's a study, I think, in the strong Black woman syndrome. If you haven't watched it, now I will tell you, it's a little racy. I told my board members, which is made up of men and women, that I
Mhm.
was watching it while my husband was gone. And then they came back and said, "Girl, that book, that show was so." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I forgot that it's like." So I will warn you, it is like rated R or whatever. But it's polygamy, and it's set in South Africa. But this woman, the extremes, you have to watch it. It is a study in um the strong black woman, though. The extremes that she goes to through to keep the image of her family. They're very wealthy, and her husband is a philanderer to the extreme. And what she goes through to make it seem as if they are this happy family. And then and it's just um you have you wouldn't, I think you would enjoy it though, in terms of like, you have to watch it, and then you when you start looking at each character, and there are several women and what they put themselves through trying to keep up this image or what have you. um it is an interesting study. And then you start thinking about some of the, like, I won't say names, but there's a story that I'll tell, that of a woman whose husband's brother brings his mistress to her home, and she refuses to allow her husband's brother, to stay at her home with his mistress. She then calls her husband's brother's wife to tell her what happened. And the wife, gets angry with her because she says, now I have to act on it. Because why would you assume that I don't know? As long as you didn't tell me, I didn't have to act on it. But now that you've told me, I have to act on it. But as long as I could pretend I didn't know, everybody was happy. Now he knows that you've told me, I have to act on
And
it. And thank you, Francesca, because pretending is protection.
it is sometimes, but pretending creates all of this anxiety
Yeah,
for us. And uh, again, this is not, I don't know if this is true or if it's, I'm not unclear if this is true or in the polygamist, but the fact is these stories are not new. And
they're not stories. What I just described actually
okay,
was
so
true.
this is not new. I mean, what I want to say is this is not new, and that they are that you would be surprised at what people are willing to put up with
Yeah,
to portray themselves as happy or as what they think other people want them to, what they think other people think they are.
yeah.
Uh, and this is, again, this creates this form of anxiety that
Mm.
is so important for us to really address, to really address. And so the anger towards the sister-in-law makes great sense because you've not only have you destroyed this image, but I have to get up the courage to do something, or
Take her
maybe
back.
I don't.
Yeah,
And that then creates all sorts of emotional distress for me.
yeah. But then the sister-in-law was like, I have, but then I was in a position as the sister-in-law, your husband put me in a position where I had to do something because he brought the mistress to my house. I'm not going to accept the mistress at my house
But
because now I'm condoning it. he put me in a bad position. And her husband put her in a bad position because her husband should have told his brother, no, you can't bring the mistress to my house. My wife is not going to accept that. I mean, it's just like messy. But that was a real life. That wasn't the polygamous. That was a real life situation.
And disrespect. And,
Yeah,
and, and,
disrespectful. Yeah,
and
because now it's
disrespect.
like, yeah. So
And that disrespect Black women, some Black women receive not only in their own home, but at work as well, or when we're out shopping, and all of those things create our anxiety
yeah.
provoking for us. And Marie, one of the things that we didn't talk about is what is anxiety? You know,
Ah,
what is it? And anxiety is this uh, perception of a threat. We don't know when, we don't know what, we don't know where. We just think something bad is going to happen. And so we just wait for it to happen. And while we're waiting for it to happen, not only are all these thoughts going through our minds, but our body is experiencing all these types of sensations as well. You know, we have this feeling in the pit of our stomach. We might have trouble breathing. We're trying to catch our breath. We might feel as if we're going to faint. We're hot and cold, cold to hot, trembling, shaking. And again, we think we're going crazy. We think we're going to die. So once those physical pieces of anxiety subside, it is our mind that keeps us anxious. It's our mind that continues to tell us all of these anxious thoughts, which look a lot like worry. So we have these, we're worried all the time, you know. And I have to, in the example Marie gave us, I have to believe that, you know, the thing that the the woman whose husband had a mistress feared the most was other people finding out, you know.
mm.
And so she, what if other people, what
So she
if,
had it all.
yeah,
So even
yeah.
if
And
even if
now
no
this,
one had ever told her, she was living with the worry of
yeah,
it being
yes,
exposed.
yes, yes,
Now,
absolutely.
is that where weathering? Is that where weathering comes from?
Well,
Or is that
actually,
a completely different?
well, absolutely. So weathering is the accelerated. Let me sound like a psychologist or an academic. Weathering is the accelerated aging that many Black women experience because of all of the chronic stress that we have. And then we add to that the chronic stress of racism. Okay. And so um, that that by the time and all, let me say racism in all its form, so not just the interpersonal racism but the systemic racism, as well, and the internal racism that some people may experience. So that what happens is that by the time as Black women we are 18, and we know Black don't crack. So at 18, we look like we're 10. And at 50, we look like we're 40. Uh, and so Black does not crack on the outside. And there's scientific evidence that says this. But on the inside, that accelerated aging makes us makes our insides look like at 18 like we're 30, and at 30 look like we're 65. And so that create that weathering then places us at higher risk for many physical disorders, but also places us at higher risk for some of the emotional disorders, including anxiety. and panic and fear because anxiety, the origins of anxiety are both biological, psychological, and social. And because psychologists like big words, we say biopsychosocial. Uh, so that that also places us at risk. So that worry, yes, absolutely, that worry created by stress, combined with racism, yes, can create weathering.
So so the relationship angst and living in a world that is
Right.
unwelcoming
Yeah, unwelcoming.
also
Yes.
lead to
Yeah. And think about what we think about Black women anyway. How many of you listening have a child? Gave birth to a child. Okay. All righty. And when you were pregnant, okay, how many people were surprised if you were married?
ah,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. So the perception is if you are a Black woman, no matter how much money you make, if you are pregnant, you must be a baby mama.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Okay. And how many of you um, have a child who who have two children and they may have different fathers? Okay. But both fathers are people that you loved. But the perception of Black women is, again, we just go out and making babies.
Yes.
So even these perceptions that the world has of us as Black women are forms of racism. If they tell it to us, they're forms of discrimination, and they create, you know. And how many of us go around saying, okay, cannot I cannot be that stereotype. Can't be
Mhm.
that stereotype. And so we worry about how we present ourselves, or we worry about how other people see us, or we
Mhm.
worry about that we must always present ourselves in these ways. So
Mhm.
these stories that we are sharing really highlight what places Black women at risk for anxiety and for panic and for fear. And it's not our fault.
Yeah.
It's the way that the world sees us and
Yep.
how we are taught to cope with that. And one of the things that we do in Soothe Your Nerves is really talk about changing the recipe, the way that our mothers and our grandmothers and our aunties coped, okay, is not the way that it is not the way that we have to cope. It's like making greens. Okay. When the old family recipe involves all sorts of things: lard, ham hocks, some kind of pork. Okay. And they really taste good. I mean, they really are those are some good greens. Okay. But we know it's unhealthy for us. And so we had to learn to change the family greens recipe. And part of us healing from anxiety, panic, and fear is learning how to change the family recipe around those three things.
Mm. Wow. But you're right. I mean, it's walking into spaces. Um, and it's carrying that. I mean, there was just the other day, there was a social media post that one of our team sent, that said, it was Judge Ketanji Jackson, and it said people call her the DEI hire, and yet she was the most
Wow.
accomplished Supreme Court justice, and yet they call her the DEI hire. Um, and we know that so many times we go into spaces, and that's the assumption that's made about so many of us.
Yeah.
Um, hmm.
Yeah. It, it is literally exhausting to be a Black woman in this country. And that's why that is why it's so important that we take care of our emotional health and we call it what it is. And that we know that we are not alone. And as I said earlier, there is nothing shameful to being about being anxious. And people are afraid. Well, if I say that I'm this, people will think I'm crazy. And anxiety is not crazy. It, from a psychological standpoint, it takes a whole lot to be crazy. And anxiety is not it. Anxiety is just anxiety.
Thank you, Dr. A.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And for my Latina sisters that are on the phone, because I would be remiss if I don't say, and I see you, because I know a couple of them on. Thank you for Nadine for joining us. Okay, let's do it. We're going to do rapid fire.
Okay.
All right. Um, our BIPOC women need to give themselves permission to fill in the blank.
Vulnerable. They need to be give themselves permission to be vulnerable.
Peace looks like, that was the word you used earlier, right? Peace?
If peace
Yeah.
peace looks like peace looks like what you envision it to be.
And before we move on, I want all 15 people on the phone, on with us, I want you to write it down. Peace looks like, to me, peace looks like fill in the blank. Do. Did you guys fill it in on your phone, as a text, whatever? Okay. Uh, Fill in the blank. Healing begins when,
I
Dr.
tell my oh,
I'm sorry, healing begins when,
do you want me to answer it?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Healing begins when I tell myself the truth.
Ah. And on that note, what is one truth you hope every person listening tonight carries with them long after this conversation ends?
Anxiety is treatable. You can reclaim your life.
Ah, thank you.
You're, you're welcome.
Dr. A, thank you for sharing your wisdom with us tonight. Thank you for answering my email when I emailed you crying. I don't know how many years ago.
I thought that was like almost 5 years ago, wasn't it?
I
I
think
can't
it
believe it.
was. I think it was. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Your voice has helped so many women understand that
Oh,
anxiety is not a curse, it's not a character flaw, it's not a lack of faith. And it's certainly something that we don't, it's not something that we have to face alone. On behalf of everyone on with us tonight, I wish I could quickly unmute everybody so we could all tell you thank you, but I'm not that fast. Thank you for giving us this roadmap. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. We have one more event tomorrow. And I hope you guys will join us tomorrow for Christina Hughes. She will do her little her book, not her little book, but her, I said little about everything. I don't know why. But she will have a conversation about her book. I will share this recording with you. And the record, we will share the recording for all of our conversations over the last 2 weeks. I will also share, Dr. A is going to have a dynamic website in the next few weeks that she's going to
Yeah,
launch.
we're excited.
And
We're excited.
yes, I am excited for what she's going to do next because Miss Thang just took should we say it, a retirement? It's not a retirement. We are not letting her retire. Her next chapter is going to be so amazing. She has shared bits and pieces, and will you come back and share it with our village when you're ready? In about a
I
month or so, you'll come back and share with everybody.
I will. I will. And I want to thank everybody for joining me uh, this evening. You have been affirming to me, so thank you so much.
Maybe the next time you come back, maybe we'll have it by special invitation. We'll limit it to the first 30 people who register. They'll get
Okay.
to be in the audience live, not
Okay.
on Zoom, not on a webinar. How about that? Would you,
That sounds wonderful to me. Sounds wonderful to me.
y'all better be ready when we open the door, you better be ready to go boom, boom, boom. And you get to come in and she's going to announce what she's doing next. And she's allowed me to peek over her shoulder a little bit, and you will not believe what she's going to do. So thank you guys. Have a great night. Thank you, Dr. A. We'll talk to you soon
Talk to you
and
soon. Thank you so much.
have a wonderful evening. Thanks, everyone.